And I have to say, 2 perfect picks there to finalize that out against a Jarvan. You're not going to keep any of those guys blocked up.
Doesn't seem like it. Maybe a Skara. Everyone else is going to be hopping around.
That was just the last 2 picks.
But even if we look at Thresh and Nautilus, they can find their ways out of that wall as well. It's actually just Skara, who Diamond can 100% keep in there.
Wow.
So, seeing these last few picks, unless they do some kind of lane swap and throw Jarvan into a lane, it does look like we're going to be seeing Diamond on Jarvan, which will be a new experience for me.
I'm very, not confused, but interested to see that they didn't pick Sona. That's an all-in initiation. Karthus walking into you, Nautilus, Thresh. A Crescendo would be perfect for that disengage, but it's only going to be safety for one person and maybe a Let's Bounce Wild Growth?
And
I don't know.
North America knows something we don't know, because they picked Lulu before any supports and denied it essentially from Europe if Europe is able to pick it with their last thing. A lot of it could just do with the Let's Bounce again, because they can all knock people aside and then Lulu can knock them up for these team fights. But I do definitely favor North America's composition here. It
looks good. Skara still being able to kind of that press R composition, not as much, but its presence if they need it. We'll have to see if this composition maybe gives EU a little bit more roam, more safety in their lanes for just that surefire mid-game to late-game and pressure of objectives.
Yeah, I feel like EU is definitely going stronger for the lane with the jungle Jarvan. He wants to be able to make the impact right away. He got shut down on Zac last time. So the biggest thing we're actually going to have to keep track of is where the AD carry and support go for North America. Are Double If Your Next Special going to be shutting down Diamond plus Alex in this game, or is Europe going to have a totally different plan to try to stop that from happening?
You know what's interesting to consider as well as we talk about the junglers a little bit? A lot of the North American LCS in the end, or even the European LCS, we saw the junglers hugging lanes in the 2v1s for quite some time to soak up experience, but we've really not seen any of that.
That is a very good observation, and that could just be the fact different regions coming together, not as much time together, and we got to remember that was also the LCS promotion, so it could be a whole different cast of teams trying to pull off that strategy. And I also got to say, there's been more 2v1 mids, and the ganks there are much less successful or pressuring than the 2v1s that we'd see in the side lanes.
All right, we'll have to see. All the stops do have to be pulled up by Europe in this next matchup. The best of 3 so far underway. 1 game in the favor of North America as we are onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, and into the match.
So now we see Europe coming in. How many wards do they have? They actually picked up a pink on Soaz. Nothing but wards and potions for him early on Zac. A lot of Zacs actually have been starting with rejuve beads to just stack with his crazy health regeneration in lane, but it's actually Dyrus who's went for the rejuvenation bead if they, in some crazy world, actually laned against each other.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Looking at the wards as I give him a chance to eyes on. And we'll see a lot of safety coming in. No, not even semi-deep wards. It was NA all over the Wraith ward right off the bat, as well as pink warding things out to make sure there wasn't vision in the beginning.
And they don't want to get invaded early here.
They're
North America is actually looking to press a little bit, and they have more pressure early because if they land a Thresh death sentence, it might give them opportunity to make something happen.
Able to walk it all the way in on this one to make sure they're safe. Actually put it out on the side to make sure they can see a little bit more.
But North America doesn't have everyone here. Look out, Skara!
Oh, he walks into the bush. The Ignite goes down. The Flash is out. No, the Ignite did not go down. There's very kind of slow reaction there by a few.
That was a little bit touchy.
It's like Skara didn't know, and you didn't know. They both were kind of surprised at the situation.
There was no reason for Skara to walk into that brush either. It was one of those ways where you're saying, I wonder what's in this brush. If I find people, I'm probably going to die. If I don't check the brush, not much bad is going to happen. Do you check the brush?
The coin
Don't do it! Don't do it!
So he should be all right, but he is going to have to use a few of those potions to keep himself in the lane. But he's just going to be happy farming. We give Diamond over to the Wolves and the blue. Orthodox starts for the junglers, and it looks like the swap coming in for EU as they're going to hug onto the golems in the top lane and put their AD carry up top.
And I actually wonder if before that flash, Skara was going to be going to a different lane, because now without the flash, he is so vulnerable. He has to be in mid lane to even have a hope of surviving against a Jarvan gank, so they're not going to be able to pull off a 2v1 shutdown on Alex Siege, whether or not that had something to do with Skara having to burn flash early.
And it looks like Soaz down to the bottom lane after giving a good assist to Diamond as he's making his way through the jungle. Like you said, Skara being very hurt in that mid lane without flash, his love of CS can really get him in trouble in that situation.
And he's got to be super careful without the flash to not let Alex Siege completely punish him. We know how well Alex Siege and Diamond can work together. Diamond's rushed this level 3 very early on here. He got the smiteless blue pull, and if I were him, I'd be running mid lane almost immediately, and he might take the long way around too to try to avoid a potential ward.
He's going to stop for those wraiths right quick. Nah, he is actually, like you said, quickly ahead of Saint here. Saint still working on that red and might be going to the wraiths just now, but it's going to be Diamond's activation in middle of the gank if he decides to go for it.
And it looks like Diamond is just cruising through the river. He may have avoided the ward. He actually didn't. He's going to be instead going for the 3-man dive up top early season 3, but Saint Vicious is on to Diamond.
Wow, sniffing that one out. And it looks like they will be able to counter this. And Diamond isn't even really wanting the situation either. They kind of haven't seen each other coming through this.
No, Saint did not see Diamond here, but now he does. And do they decide to go in? He's burned his shield early.
There we go. They are going to be able to just kind of pressure this one out. No movement from anywhere else here, so it's just 2v3.
It's a lot of poke going down, and this is that jungler support we were literally just talking about before the game coming back in this one. LCS habits coming back into this match, and they just decide to back away because Saint arrived to protect.
Still, the push is going down. It's normally what you see, the AD carry and support on a 2v1 lane, getting the damage down onto that turret. Last time it was different in mid. It was all about the roaming presence, but here it's about that global presence and pressuring down those turrets.
And North America did not get many turrets early in the last game. I don't think they had one down about 14 or 15 minutes in the game. This is probably going to be a lot different this time because it looks like X Special and Double is priority in that lane rather than killing Soaz is to get damage on that turret.
And once again, Saint's going to kind of hug this top lane. He feels that Diamond 6th sense as well, but it's not going to be much. And Alex on a quick roam here, maybe trying to draw in something from Skara to feel like he can all in him.
And he knows Skara has no flash. Alex has also got an early point in a W, so if Skara would have went any closer, Alex would have gotten him, but he's still sneaking in behind him. And look out, Skara, those minis look tasty.
Oh, he wanted the CS, and he got himself out there. Alex, shock blast just off to the side was a good warning shot.
Yeah, if that shock blast would have landed, I feel like he would have tried to all in him a little bit more. Knowing Skara still has that exhaust, he decided to not even worry about it, not waste too many resources, and just continue to farm that way.
We have a little bit of attention from Diamond in the bottom lane here. He did decide that he might back. He could have said Soaz says, I'm all right, you don't have to worry about it, and the minions aren't pushing that fast as they're somewhat freezing this.
But if X Special and Doublelift get a little bit too aggressive here, they could very well get ganked. Has his buffs ran out yet on Diamond? He just has the red buff. It just expired, so if he ganks, it's without many snares.
X Special is on the move for a hook. He's hugging the right side of that minion wave, making sure he has the activation on it. But it looks like they're going to hold Diamond here, and this may start to affect him.
Yeah, Diamond's spending a lot of time here while St. Vicious is off farming his wolves, so if nothing happens with this camp by Diamond, it's going to give St. Vicious maybe a little edge here.
Gotta say, Saints still down in CS on that. They do jump in for the one. It's only going to be Diamond coming in. They get some extra damage here as they poke back and forth, but nobody can really act on anything.
Even though there was a lantern burned early, they just weren't able to get into range. No red buff, no real threat from that gank, and Soaz wasn't confident enough to try to 2v2 jump in because he himself didn't have any knowledge that Saint wasn't just there waiting.
Saint back to the top lane, actually looking to help push this wave as well, as Yellow Pete and Edward had cleared the lane. They're both going to go back on this one. So some of our first buys in the matchup, we see Diamond leaving with the Spirit Stone. And again, the supports going straight for the Sight Stones.
Good call by the supports, knowing that really the early game is so key in this matchup because North America has dominated it in the last game and also in North America's game against China yesterday, whereas Europe has fallen behind pretty heavily against Korea yesterday in game 2. So really, really trying to feel each other out here. Dead even gold once again.
Dead even gold there, but the 2v1 lane, the help from Saint maybe helping a little bit here. 20 to CS to 10 CS, as Soaz having a bit of trouble down there in the bottom, and he's really got the harass from that Ezreal and the Thresh. That's a hard lane to 2v1.
And it might just be more than that because, I mean, Diamond's just back in the brush again, so he's really 2v2ing this lane.
That's true.
And an interesting thing of note, too, just based off of jungle pressure, is Saint has opted for Boots of Mobility instead of a Spirit Stone. But look out, they're going because Lulu's around the back as well.
Knocking it in. They put the Ignite down quite early. They flay back. Can it be the flag toss execution? He flashes out of the bump up, and it looks like it's going to be Edward on the right side. The support carry coming in for the kill. Will he find a line? Special gets a kill for himself. Oh my gosh. 1 for 1. The Requiem comes down. It's going to be the True Shot Barrage just on the tail side of Diamond, but not enough damage.
X Special trading support for support. Mono E Mono pulls him into the turret, makes Edward pay for his Flash Ignite. So that gank was good for Europe because they were able to trade the kills, but it was better for North America because they didn't expend as many resources to get that happening.
Tears being stacked up as we see some of these inventories now starting to fill out. They're able to get out of these lanes, which have been so much more aggressive back and forth. NA not getting the momentum they had last game. Europe able to finding a way to stall this out. And Yellow P winning a little bit of a 1v1 there, even with Soaz on the right.
That was a very safe trade for Yellow P to take, because if Doublelift would have decided to all-in hit, Soaz could have definitely decided to cancel his back and just go in and kill Doublelift. So really good opportunistic harass there at Doublelift. Luckily didn't decide to harass back.
A Giant's Belt very quickly coming in for Soaz here. At that, those are a lot of longswords. Sail on longswords, aisle 5 right now for EU LCS.
Oh dear, so maybe that is a... We could see a Lizard Spirit coming out from Diamond on Jarvan if he decides to transform into those, and probably a Brutalizer coming out from Alex Each. I don't think those are actually building towards the same item.
So we see Xpecial giving Edward a call there, saying hi. Soaz taking a little bit of harass from Dyrus in the top lane. Dyrus is 40 CS and Soaz is 19.
That is a huge difference, and maybe it just has to do with the way the junglers were deciding to camp the lanes. When Saint came up, he just showed himself, and he kind of tried to scare them back and maybe let Dyrus farm. Whereas Diamond was hiding away and trying to bait in a kill, and I feel like that cost him in farm.
Very well played by Doublelift and Xpecial in that bottom lane to pretty much freeze it just outside of that turret range as well, taunting Soaz to ever so slightly step out of line when he needs to. Yellow Pete now taking hold of that lane as Soaz says, it'll be all right. I'll be all right in the top lane. And he really isn't taking too much damage.
No, and they're back to brawling right now. Giant's Belt is a great build here for Soaz right now, since he's getting percentage or max health back from his Bloblets when he goes in, and Dyrus really hasn't shopped in quite some time, so for now, even though he's down in minion kills in that lane, he's going to be able to hold his own and maybe catch up a bit.
Alright, we may see an activation in mid here. Blue buff could be going over to Skara. Nice hammer back. Alex keeps himself safe.
And in this mid lane, Scars actually went for Catalyst first instead of Tier first because he was worried about the kill potential of Alex Each. That's one of the reasons he's been able to kind of keep pace and farm despite losing that flash early and getting beaten up a bit. So slow down in the late game transition for Scar, but survival in the lane.
And without North America kind of having a go-to strat here to start, it's an orthodox, you know, kind of laning up. Everybody's in the same lane you would be. They're not as far ahead in CS as they were last game.
This game is completely even. 1 kill to 1, no turrets taken, and the gold is just 200 apart. Really, we're going to see a breaking point, maybe at some point, whether it's a backfire dive, whether Diamond actually gets one of these camping in brushes ganks to pay off, or whether we see a dragon fight. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
They're still focusing on Alex here. He's still one of the guys they want to continue to pressure, but it's the bottom lane that finds a bit more. 100-0, right quick.
Well, there's the wait for a while and go. They had a pink ward in the brush that Diamond was waiting in, so he waited for the recharge of his flag jump combo because he'd come over the wall in the sneaky way, and with that, they might be trying to take down this dragon. They didn't really burn that much from that fight, so if NA wants to defend this or contest this, it could be a dangerous fight.
That is huge. They have the area of effect to really take this one in. Skara coming from the backside. Requiem is up. Can initiate or end this fight. Saint just on the outside. They aren't going to pressure, but he is going to lead them into this brawl. May hook back. No, they decide to completely go away.
Yeah, Saint was thinking of walking up and maybe getting a smite steal, but then he realized they didn't have enough people there, and the team was definitely not going to be backing him up. So once he got polymorphed, it really just burned a flash, and he didn't get close enough to try for a smite steal. So that was definitely a great play for Europe because they forced NA to waste a bunch of time at Dragon and got no reward for it.
We look at the inventories here after our first Dragon on the game. The Lizard Elder, yes, going into the hands of Diamond. Yellow Pete farming that. Whoa, get caught at the bottom there. Play it up. Yellow Pete could go down. He gets barriered on as well. He is not going to get out of this one alive. Doublelift picks that one up.
I believe Xpecial led that off with a death sentence that just caught Yellow Pete off guard. Still had a flash. Yellow Pete didn't even flash away. He was just overextended and got hooked.
Came around from the lip of Tribush. That Fog of War gameplay really helping out with that kill. So 12 minutes into this one, already seeing the dragon down. That really didn't happen until 18 or so minutes before. The first dragon fight last game left both teams crippled. And right now, EU is saying, you know, we don't need momentum to start this game. We're just going to start from the ground and go up.
And they've been farming away pretty well in all of these lanes. You can see 116 to 101 to Skara. Alex Each been sitting on that tier that got us for quite some time, whereas Skara just got his. So that's going to be a much later transformation for his tier the goddess item that Skara gets into. And Alex Each, finally, I think this is the first game he's had in this All-Star event where he's gotten going a bit early.
See what that can do for him. He's still sitting at that 1,000% on kills, deaths, and assists. So let's see if we can get under his belt here. He's been pressured, so we'll have to see.
picks up the Manamune, and we could very well see a bunch of people converging bottom. There are 2 people of Europe in the base right now, so if North America forces this, they would have the Requiem to assist in their 3v3.
Special puts the pink ward down, allows Nautilus, that St. Vicious, to come in from the backside. Chain of Corruption is on. He's going to see Jarvan right next to him. Says, whoa, it's going to be a 3v3, ladies and gentlemen. They go in as well as the Requiem. They lock down the Cataclysm. Special staying in front of Doublelift, but Doublelift, Arcane flashing into the fight, and it looks like he's going to be able to pick up Diamond.
Diamond, the sole death in that fight, and there was actually a big lack of focus by North America in the start of that fight, with Doublelift focusing most of his early damage on Edward, but St. Fish is trying to lock down Yellow Pete, and who would have guessed that Diamond's the one that ends up dying at the end of it because he cataclysmed in to try to save. That was just the advantage for NA because they knew they had the Requiem, and they baited that Varus ultimate in for a fake engage.
We'll see how the lanes are still faring. We see the bottom one going very well for Doublelift. Again, a 2-0-1 game for him to start off. Looks like they're going to try to get him going as well.
Scar.
0 mana Scar. He's got the blue, but he's not going to have enough to maybe get away from this one. Alex hits him away, dodges the Shock Blast.
Really having to wait for that flash until Alex burned his Q, because if he would have flashed early, he would have just been sniped. He was overextended, getting hungry for some of those minions. Scar tends to do that sometimes. Alex punishes him for it by burning both of his summoner spells.
Alex also played that one smart. He did not flash, so he may have the second engagement when Scar comes back. Scar used everything to get out of that.
Still Rod of Ages finally completed by Scar, though. He is slowly but surely farming up. This is not the clip you'd expect from a mid lane Karthus. I still think some of that happened because of the flash he had to burn early, and also because this is the first time Alex Each is really free to do what he wants. He's on an AD champion. He's really excelled on those since the start of Season 3, and if Europe wants to win, coming into the tournament, we thought they were going to have to play like Gambit, which meant Alex Each is going to have to just farm up a Storm and then flank it in team fights, and they're actually on their way to doing that.
And you have to give a thumbs up and a hats off to Alex so far. How many times has Saint bed mid to give him trouble, and he's still up about 30 CS on Scar?
Yeah, we've been talking so much about Diamond sitting bottom lane. Saint's done that equally as much to Alex, but the ganks haven't even been close. That's why we haven't been showing it on camera necessarily, because every time Saint's in the wings, Alex is ungankable.
He just pulls it out, makes himself safe, and he looks like he's going to head back to lane. Now going up against the Rod of Ages tier, he himself trying to fill up that Muramana. He is almost there. We do have the Blade of the Rune King coming out into Yellow Pete. Looks like he's going Last Whisper once again for his second buy.
So that is a pretty good build actually on Varus. The Blade of the Rune King gives you enough attack speed that the Last Whisper is actually pretty critical to be able to get later. Plus he's going to want to kill Nautilus very early as well with percent health damage. I do like that combination from Yellow Pete. It's actually difficult to transition past that. So he's going to be hitting a pretty big spike when he completes Blade of the Rune King plus Last Whisper, as opposed to a regular conventional AD carry build.
Well, you see kind of a movement on the blue build here coming in for Ezreal. Definitely goes for the Bloodthirster to start that off instead of Lizard.
And that's exactly what Doublelift did in the North American qualifiers. The Bloodthirster first into the tier. That is my favorite version of the Iceborne Gauntlets Muramana Ezreal, because you get so much power in the lane just off the Bloodthirster, and then you get to transition into the annoying thing, so you never really have that weak point.
We'll see how he utilizes it throughout the game. Right now he's got himself a good 10 CS up onto Yellow Pete. We do have Soaz here. Going to give some Dyrus some trouble in the top lane, but they back off. A little bit of a lull in the game for everyone as they just get their farm on until the next fight.
And the last we checked of that top lane, it was really Soaz sneaking up there at 20 mini kills to 40 with an item advantage, and then just kind of farming it out. Looks like it's been more of the same. These guys have not necessarily been fighting each other too much. They're farming up Dyrus, extending his lead by a little bit, about 14 more than previously, but still, those guys are going to be all about team fight tanking rather than fighting against each other in lane.
Scar getting hit up once again. Nice dodge there. The phase change by Jace. Alex keeping himself safe. A lot of aggression in that bottom lane, though, as they may try to go in for this fight.
Europe really wants to dive in, but the fight is bottom, and he is gone.
Yellow Pete gets obliterated on that one. Chain of Corruption is going to help Edward walk out of that, but that was big for them. 3 assists coming out.
And it's even bigger because the Dragon just spawned, so if North America can repel this push mid, they're going to be able to trade Dragon for Dragon with Europe, who got it earlier.
Dyrus coming down to focus his bottom lane. Like you said, that focus now being put down towards the bottom side of the map. Edward may lose his turret, and they may lose the Dragon with this amount of pressure. 6 seconds on Pete.
Very least, this is probably going to be the first turret of the game for North America, and a 17-minute turret really shows to the laning that's happened in this game and how neither team has really overextended. All the ganks have been about killing rather than pushing lanes, as we saw a lot of early in Season 3, but first turret down, North America gets a slight gold lead.
There was a ping on Dragon just now. Saint's making his way out there, but it looks like bottom is backing. So they say we at least need focus, we at least need vision. They're going to attempt.
And Yellow Pete's made it all the way back since dying, so North America didn't really use that window to try to get the Dragon. Both the top laners meandered their way back to the top lane to just start fighting up there, and it looks like the Dragon is completely deprioritized in this game.
Let's see. Looking at Diamond and Saint now in these inventories. Diamond still building up. Looks like it's to be team-oriented in that bulwark fashion. Saint going for fight. Not selfish, but the cooldowns, the armor, the regen, and really getting himself to help engagements for the team.
And the boots of mobility was the rush. He's only been able to get 2 kills off of it since, but he could rush forward quickly. Europe, though, good pink board timing, good back timing. Specialist not there. I think Europe's got this one.
They are going to be able to take it down. It may still be an engagement, though. No, the gate is going to get them out safely, and nothing comes back to bite them.
With the way Europe is playing this one, kind of in and out, getting the Dragon, not wanting to fight, not even forcing a Dragon fight, I feel like they think they're going to have a window in this game where they can win team fights, and they're just working towards that point.
Well, from last game, it was like their positioning and not team fights won it. So it almost looks like they have 2 avenues. But this team, like you said, bringing to the table, it's going to be pretty good fight teams.
I think they're really looking for Alex to farm up and become an unstoppable beast. They're going to get that Muramana transformed, I think, in a couple minutes. His Muramana is actually sitting at 720. So in about a minute, he's going to have that, and that's where they might start forcing their team fight. Maybe the next Dragon. They're waiting on the Aegis from Diamond Procs. Soaz is waiting on probably a Sunfire Cape, as he just completes it right now. The Aegis goes in, and as soon as that last Whisper comes in on Yellow Pete, I think it's go time.
What do you see? The Iceborne Gauntlet coming out. We have the Glacial Shroud onto Ezreal, almost charged up there and built up. Looking around, the last Whisper not finished on Pete. It's like these guys haven't gone back to buy too much, but wards always in the inventory. EU knows they have a bit of an advantage. Keep those wards out and keep the advantages pressed. They will be able to pick up this blue. This means Alex is going to start that poke game with Jace.
And it is a devastating poke game as he finally transforms his Muramana, because at this point in the game, Jace doesn't necessarily have a weakness. A lot of times, if you're going the full AD Jace, you're very squishy. If they close in on you, you can't necessarily kill someone off. All you have is the hypercharge gate shot. But now, with the Muramana, if they come in, he can use his W, 3-hit people for the full Muramana damage on every hit. That's not reduced, by the way, with his triple shot. So it is devastating when they go in.
Alex looking to do some powerful damage here. If they brawl, Dyrus trying to push the top lane, and it almost looks like they are avoiding the fights, as they know there's been a huge surge of power coming in to EU right now. They kind of got to take it slow.
And Scar is waiting to stack up his tier as his double lift. Even though I said there wasn't much weakness in double lift's Bloodthirster first build, when you get that Glacial Shroud in, that item by itself isn't protecting him that much aside from a bit of armor. Right. Glacial Shroud in itself is a very inefficient item. It's efficient once you put it into its upgrade. So if he gets his Iceborne Gauntlets, he's there. But since he's not there yet, it's really not giving him a huge amount of benefit.
It's all about playing that mid-section of the purchase. Weird to think about, but it makes a difference. So they're kind of playing it slow. Like you said, the tier getting charged up. Double lift looking for that core item out of a Glacial Shroud. Dyrus, a little bit of harassment here, trying to figure out if Soaz is playing different. And it looks like Dyrus' 6th Sense paying off here. He's not engaging whatsoever. And
even though Diamond hasn't had the most successful ganks this game, it seems like for how much we've seen him waiting in brushes, he has an amazing amount of farm. Maybe that Spirit of Lizard Elder plus just him sweeping through the jungle very fast is making up for it. I don't quite know how he's done it like that.
30 CS ahead of Saint. Looks like there is some movement up in that top lane. Soaz goes in, and he's trying to bait Dyrus into using that slice and dice. There's the slice, there's the dice, but he uses it to get away. 6th Sense.
Dyrus is a patient man.
Wow.
He knows how to top lane, and he definitely senses something is a little bit up right here. I wonder if North America is going to try to counter this one, because they've been up there for a while, and finally they dive in!
Oh, Dyrus, you got too antsy in the pantsy! I don't know if you're going to make it out. He does! Still has the ultimate to throw down, and he did! A few more caster shots coming in. The auto attack there from Diamond. Oh, the flag tossed! Lawn darts, that's why they're illegal.
Style points there with the kill from Diamond. Support is rolling in from him, but actually Nautilus is on the chase. North America might try to turn something around here yet.
There they are. The wall goes down, so they have vision on the other side of the wall. It looks like Saint is going to dive into this. Scar flashes. They get a good depth charge on the Diamond. He goes back to the fight, dodges it, tries to get some damage onto Double Lift, but he puts himself in for the safety of his team.
And surprisingly, the red buff actually fell off Diamond right before he died to Double Lift, so there is no red buff that Double Lift gets to have. Makes the dive actually successful for them, since they not only got a 1-for-1 without transferring a red buff, they were also able to pressure the mid turret when North America roamed up to support.
I was going to say Alex hadn't been back to buy in a while. Looks like he picked himself up a nice last Whisper after the Muramana finished. looking for a lot more items and Infinity Edge to come out of Yellow beat this game.
Huh. So the pickaxe is actually going for Infinity Edge. Makes my whole speech earlier a little foolish. But I still think that's more of a late game transition build. It means that his last Whisper is actually going to be very slow. So if he's ever dueling Doublelift while Doublelift has the Iceborne Gauntlets, he's going to have a hard time actually breaking through that damage.
Oh my gosh, just going back. Alex E says, I'm getting out of here, but he meets a St. Vicious. Oh, the 2v1 in favor of Alex right now. He's actually fighting 3 people with Requiem coming in. Now in a 1v1, a 4th person fighting Alex in this fight now with True Shot Barrage coming across. He may not make it out. 4 is 3 too many.
As impressive of a fight that was for Alex, it doesn't actually give his team an edge. He gave up assist pool gold essentially in that fight. He is such a powerhouse at this point in the game with his channeled farm, his last Whisper, and his Mirror Mana transform that he can take on 2 people at once and come out ahead. But if he dies, it's not necessarily worth it unless Soas can get the turret.
So we're going to go ahead and say this game is a bit closer than last game. 6-4. The gold still within 1,000 now at 24 minutes. The turrets within 1. Pressure to the top lane still coming from Skara. We'll see if he can do anything to hold this off or get the team to bolster up with him. It looks like he's just going to be there, farm it up.
And we have to keep track as well of Doublelift's power this game. 4-0-2, and for as much as Alex Each has been farming on Jace, Doublelift is right behind him here. 9,100 gold on Double, 8,500 gold on Alex Each. So of the battle of the biggest carry right now is to Doublelift, and with that Iceborne Gauntlet build, he's actually going to hit his max item build a little bit sooner than a regular AD carry. So NA will be able to have really a max item Ezreal quite quickly.
True Shot Barrage going top lane. They look to save this turret. That will be fine for now, and it looks like they are going to try and focus down Dragon 2 seconds from now. Skara still going to the top side. He's going to be at blue while they do this.
Skara's got to hurry up getting this blue buff because they just keep giving up dragons to Europe, and Europe has been on top of it. North America has not been in position, and this looks like dragon number 3 for Europe.
And they're actually on both sides. They are trifecta around the dragon happening, but didn't want to go in for it.
So with that dragon, Europe has the gold lead. They actually haven't been winning that many fights. 6 kills to 4. Really the only one who's been powerful on his own has been Alex Each. And since they're getting the dragons, we actually haven't seen the team fights getting generated by these guys.
They know the consideration for power of both of these teams is coming in. Last game we saw North America dictating a lot of what was going on. The Flay absolutely bouncing out. There's the box. The initiation comes in after this. Dyrus is still there to help Xpecial. It was going to be Doublelift coming in on the side too. That could have been scary for them, but each team backing off now.
Really interesting disengage, I'd have to say, because Soaz was the one caught out. He used his Let's Bounce just as a way to get tenacity and escape out of this fight. Good play by North America, burning the Let's Bounce, but we'll see who capitalizes.
Let's see what they can do. 25 minutes in, it is 6-4. But it is going to get a lot more hairy with these turrets going down. They are pressuring down the mid now for North America. This was North America's turret on the other side for EU, so a definite momentum push for Europe as we come into the mid game.
And this game is not even close to being decided yet, but it will be decided soonish, if that makes any sense, because they've been farming up for so much, and the team fights just haven't met the right conditions to happen. We need to have the dragon fights. The Baron fights could actually happen fairly quickly. You got to keep in mind, Skara is on Karthus, who can kill Baron incredibly fast. Doublelift finally picked up his Iceborne Gauntlets. They could power through a Baron here, or they could just look to force a fight, as Europe is actually trying to split push 2 side lanes.
There goes Soaz from the side of the fight. Will they be able to actuate on this one? It's at 26 minutes. The core items have been had, and it's not EU pressuring that turret. It's North America pressuring down. Their health bars aren't even moving. Soaz dropping very quickly. The passive about to pop for him. The True Shot Barrage actually not hitting the blobs, but they are able to clean this one up. It's going to be the 4v5 in front of the turret and a very healthy North American squad.
So Alex Each is actually still in the bottom lane, pushing these turrets down. North America knows what happened last time when they were getting split push, and they only get the 1 kill for the turret. Good trade for Europe, I have to say.
They start backing this one up. Looks like Alex still trying to pressure that bottom lane. Doublelift is going to be the one to stop here, and Alex, realizing that he cannot see everyone on the map, is actually staying here.
If Doublelift gets a single hit on Alex, there's a chance he'd be able to kill him. Alex has to be very careful here because the chase potential of Doublelift's Ezreal is immense. Dyrus coming up behind.
Dyrus almost in range. That is going to be a shock-gated Jace. Not going to be able to catch that guy. EU trying to make some moves, trying to now pressure every part of North America's side of the map.
And they're really just trying to execute the split push strategy, NA not letting it happen.
North America back in the face of EU, and St. Vicious says we can do it too. Thresh getting a kill, actually Special comes up with one for himself in this matchup. Diamond going down, Diamond hitting up as well by Doublelift.
And now with Diamond out of the way, no smite steal is potential for North America, but there are still the two solo lane damage dealers from Europe who might try to harass this one. North America going for this Baron, wards are being spammed in from the outside. Let's see if they can get this one down or how Europe tries to contest it.
Diamond not in this one. They're not even going to pressure. The True Shot Barrage coming across. There it goes to Saint, and it's a 28-minute Baron for North America.
For all the split pushing, that one mistake may cost Europe. After that Baron, they are still up in gold, which shows you how much map pressure they've actually been able to attain throughout the rest of this game. But a very critical mistake by Yellow Pete and Diamond getting caught out in this one. We have to wait to see how North America presses this Baron advantage.
Blocket of the Iron, Solari coming out for Special, and why? Because he's 2-6 along with his 6-0 and 280 carry. So pulling out the strength of the team right there. And on top of that, does that Locket protect the Nautilus shield from breaking?
It depends, I think, on the order of the shields when they're applied. They'll kind of stack on top of each other, so if they do, it would work very well for them. I really like Locket, particularly on X Special, because Thresh in himself, his Lantern is almost like a Locket.
Yeah.
So he'll get a double Locket in some of these team fights and really frustrate a Shock Blast or any type of Let's Bounce. He can almost completely negate
Does that Locket, the shield consider the Locket cooldown of not being as much next time?
Not sure what you're going for, but Double is getting caught up by Alex.
All right, we'll have to see if Doublelift gets it up here. Alex, eesh.
Wow.
That was quite quick. The Requiem not really phasing him too much.
Yeah, Doublelift is got to keep his distance from Alex right here. That was an absolute crush, and that's what they're trying to do to stay in the game, is just keep up Alex's split push pressure.
Okay, let's see if they do at 23 minutes. EU kind of gathering in middle here, saying, power in numbers, buddy system, let's hold this one out. But North America is doing the same as well. You cannot not move as a pack right now. There is just too much strength to go around. 3 core items and the Muramana finished. Is Alex even able to build into that Hex Drinker for personal safety? And these guys are coming out. The Bulwark now, so Skara getting a little bit hit up on that.
Yeah, and Skara got the transform even though he had the really late tier, so he's managed to kind of reach that late game Tarthas potential. No kills, he's definitely not the same threat as Alex, and we did talk about potential split push threat in the pregame and how Europe really needed to have someone who could solo any potential split push that NA throws at them. And the battle between Alex Each and Doublelift could actually happen a couple times throughout this game. That last fight was a great sign for Europe if they want to continue the split.
It's like Doublelift somewhat close to finishing that item build for himself as well. The Boots of Lucidity coming out now. We do see the Bulwark on both sides. Cyrus picking up a Warmog for himself, and everything just says fight, fight, fight.
The Dragon coming up pretty soon, but those have all went to Europe. North America hasn't really done much with this Baron. Their lanes from the sides are still pushing up. This is a fantastic hold from Europe so far.
See what they can decide to push. It's really up to the next move. North America trying to pressure a little bit of the jungle, still take away these buffs. It looks like they don't want it. The pink ward is going to keep them safe. There's the toss into Diamond. Could get up pretty good here. Piercing area coming from Yellow Pete. Depth charge to the back line. Chain of Corruption locks up just about the entire team. But look at Doublelift on the outside. Dyrus is able to finish the kill. They continue to dice in here. It's going to be St. Vicious. Let's Bounce was completely used on Saint. Soaz is now going to be chased by 3, but it is going to deter them from an engagement with the rest of the team.
And he is out, so a 1-for-1 was a very good fight for Europe, considering they seem to be the ones to get caught out. North America was not able to get in position to deal their maximum amounts of damage, and that really wasn't that amazing considering how the fight started.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be pretty grim. The ward coverage for both teams was really the saving grace there. They knew what to do and what not to do. Now the top pressure on the turret here at 32 minutes in, 10-6. They only get a few shots on. The siege clear, quite good coming from EU.
And it looks like North America's Baron is about to be spent. They have maybe 10 seconds left on it, so nothing really gained. They were down 1,000 gold after they picked up the Baron, and they're still down 1,000 gold. So this game is still yet to be decided, even after North America seemed to have that big break at a Baron.
Leandry's being finished up onto Soaz. They can get that percentage damage down, and that's going to help. We got a pretty tanky Saint and a pretty tanky Dyrus coming in there. Infinity Edge finished up onto Yellow Pete, but we saw instant depth charge onto Yellow Pete that fight. And really all he did was piercing arrow, so it's scary for him to get close in these fights.
He also got that Chain of Corruption, which held North America
the 4
pretty much in place. and it spread to pretty much anyone, which forced North America, or actually made them incapable of chasing all the way through. And wasn't that bad of a play by Yellowpete after getting depth charge straight off the bat.
Saint pushing the top lane. Looks like they get a little bit of pressure on the Dragon, and they pick that up for themselves as well. So backing off, there's... Oh,
Alex go!
Vicious just absolutely getting bit down by Alex. There's a shock blast. Oh, but he gets the shield down to save himself.
That is such a scary man coming out of the jungle. Makes Saint burn all of his spells. Alex did burn his Ignite, though, so he can't do that as quickly to Saint in the future. And even though that was an amazing show of strength by Alex, it doesn't give them a big edge.
Double Locket now coming out for North America here. Now, those double Lockets degrading on W's. That's what I was
Those
getting at
definitely
earlier.
degrade on W's. You will refresh the duration of your own Locket. Full circle, we're back to there. Is Alex going to go kill Double Lift again? Probably not, he's not.
Maybe not. And really, Alex Ish, at the point in the game where he loves to be, I can 1v1 anyone on your team. Now finishing the Mall of Memories.
This is a lot of the Gambit Gaming playstyle. You can't send a man for Alex, and he team fights when he chooses and then decides to destroy you. And if he can pull it off in this game, Europe's going to probably come out on top, but North America has been forcing some really good team fights. If they catch someone in the right spot and don't get kind of re-engaged around by Soaz, they're going to be able to push through for something pretty powerful soon.
And we see that power coming kind of to a bridge here as all the items at max capacity for Mirror Mana charges up. The Void Staff now on to Skara. It's going to help greatly with that bulwark damage as he gets into Defile the fight. And he's been using Flash to engage quite a bit. So with that up, these guys have a great engage on this fight.
And even without the death cap, Skara is sitting at 400 ability power, so he is still hitting quite hard. It's crazy to think, Riv, that we're 34 minutes into this game, and there's about 80 gold separating both teams, maybe less.
Yeah, even numbers at the top of the screen, even turrets on each side of the map. 10-6 is the kills, and that's just about what separates these two teams besides the mindset. 35 minutes into this one, a push down the mid lane for North America as we have Diamond on the top trying to pressure or push out that lane.
And Double Lift is actually only 1 item completion away from being a 6-item bluish Ezreal since he's got the red Bloodthirster in there. It's North America's time to actually press a little bit. They haven't been able to press in the last 6 or 7 minutes since they were able to pick up that last Baron, but they might force something big here since they got Void Staffs, Last Whispers, and a very strong Double Lift now, 341 minion kills.
Special with the Oracles, they're trying to gain control of the map and really put Europe into an uncomfortable position here. Alex Yee's actually taking quite a bit of damage from that shot on Double Lift, so they're trading Shock Blast damage for Mystic damage at just about the same amount.
They're just really poking back and forth. Neither team wants to engage too hard since they know the damage potential of both of each other. If you engage into a Karthus, the rest of your team is kind of cut off from yourself. But if North America tries to dive in, Zach's probably just going to jump through their entire team and start bouncing all over the place. So very difficult situations for both of these
There's
guys.
so many things to focus on in these fights. Who does Diamond Cataclysm? Is it Dyrus? Does he get out? St. Vicious just anchor toss out. Where's it going to be? Are the AD carries focused? There's so much to watch, and it looks like it may be all over a Baron.
And North America is actually trying to bait around a corner and get a catch of some kind, but Europe is really not taking the bait. They're poking safely. Edward's been back to base. They were not trying to see that one right there, which means they're actually in a bit of danger of letting North America take a Baron.
They are in on it. They have a pink ward in, so it's just going to be pink ward to ward battle as they try this one.
And he's going to peel out.
Smite is up. St. Vicious starts to peel off. Do they have it? The flash? Oh, he gets the terrain. Alex Ish with the fast flash as well.
But that means the flash is down, so the next time St. Vicious tries to ultimate, even though he doesn't have a flash to engage, they might be able to lock down Alex Siege. It will be a very touchy positioning battle for Alex, since he has taken so much of that farm that he cannot get caught out.
Alex now going over to the blue buff. They need the poke to stay there. True Shot Barrage to the top lane so they can keep the focus exactly where it is. They do not want to leave the pressure they have. They know they have EU in an uncomfortable spot, like I said.
And EU is definitely on the back foot. They're the ones worrying about getting poked at Baron, but it's definitely not overly detrimental. They're feeling somewhat comfortable here, but a little bit uneasy.
Pressure now still at Baron. We've been here for 2.5 to 3 minutes. It's been tagged. It's been walked away from. This dance is becoming a grand waltz for these teams as they start to engage it once again. We're going for possibly the final dance. They go Alex. Into Alex Age. The depth charge pops up too, but they dive to the back line. Cataclysm gets everybody it needs to. Dyrus can't even get out of it. He's trying to fight Diamond. Requiem comes down. Is it enough? A double kill for Yellowpete on the Infinity S5 for him with the Blade of the Rune King. Scarra picks one up. It's going to be so far a 4-for-1. EU coming out on top, but it looks like the poke is still continuing. Double lift on one side, and it looks like they finally give up.
A 4-for-1. So many people flashing red. 3 there for Europe, below 25% health by the end of that fight. And that was an amazing counter-initiate by Soaz and Diamond. Even though Alex got hit by the depth charge, no one on North America could actually follow through. Scarra couldn't quite make it into the team fight, and the backline got wrecked by bouncing Soaz and Diamond's Cataclysm.
Locked up and knocked up in that fight. Such good crowd control use. They stacked it one on top of the other instead of right on top of each other. Looks like they're going to be able to grab a nice Baron off this, walk it down mid lane, and start to give a little bit of hell to North America.
Because we're really 38 minutes into the game now, those death timers after that 4-for-1 fight for really long. So normally after a really close Baron fight like that, you get to see no one have it because they're all alone, they have to go back to base. But they actually went back to base and then came all the way back to Baron, and North America was still dead. So they were able to take the Baron for free, which is great. Not for free, because of the fight.
Indeed. Because they fought valiantly and kept themselves alive. We were talking about it a little bit last game, is you fight something and you don't have enough health to do it. But Gambit's kind of finding themselves on, we have more than enough health to do things after these fights. And that, after being so uncomfortable, has to be a boost of confidence.
And they were playing this whole game up until now because they feel like they're stronger late game. The way they were trying to sneak the dragons, how they were never really forcing fights because they wanted to reach a late game point where Alex was the most farmed on their team, where Yellowpeak could be a real threat when they're in these team fights, sitting in the back and just cleaning up. It's working for Europe right now.
Alex sitting at 100 CS per 10 minutes right now. He's got that 400. He's looking to give Double Lift a run for his money on that. And Guardian Angels being picked up more on the EU LCS side.
Hey man,
very Gambit-y.
That's a back when they were a Moscow 5 strategy in Season 2, when they wanted to end the game, everyone would build Guardian Angels and they'd make their final push with the Baron buff, with double GAs. Even though they're not as strong as they were in Season 2, that could be Europe's play here.
Extreme farm coming out on a lot of these guys. 300s for 4 of these players on the Rift right now. 2 for each side. Another 200 in those top lanes as Dyrus and Soaz have been going at it back and forth. And again, credit to Soaz. He went to that lane 40 CS behind to really help his team in these fights. And we heard what Shai said. You may be down, but you got to keep your head in the game.
And that's exactly what Soaz did, because he had a very rough game 1. He has not been having a great all-star series, but he is showing up in this game despite having the early disadvantage.
Randu and Zoman trying to be finished up onto St. Vicious. His flash almost coming up still with Alex Ishus from that last flash engagement. This Baron buff keeping them on their heels. Double Lift trying to get some damage. Whoa, that's a good chunk onto Diamond there. There's the initiation, and it's not going to be too much. Oh, the wreck got him. He's got Diamond. That's a for sure. Edward with one more shot. Gives himself the shield. Arcane shift in. Double Lift going for another kill. He's going to be able to get that one. This is going to be double-licious, and he looks like he picks up Yellowpeak as well. 1, 2, 3. That's going to Scarra.
And Europe was so confident because they had double GA and a Baron buff that they let Double Lift sneak up on him, and these are very long death timers. 50 seconds on Yellowpeak, 40 on Diamond, 35 on Edward. They might try to end with these 2 Baron buffs still sitting on Europe.
The Death Chamber putting the sweat on the European LCS All-Star team right now. The first inhibitor turret to be hit, battered, and beaten down by North America as the inhibitor now lies in their eyes.
20 seconds still left on the shortest death timer. They got 40 seconds on Yellowpeak. Alex and Soaz have a bunch of damage. There are no creeps for North America. They're going.
They have the poke. There's the Zac attack. Let's bounce. Saracen brace for Scarra. They're going to fight this one out right at the Nexus. The front door is being beaten down, but Europe is doing everything they can to clean up the doormat. Dyrus left alone in the turrets. He may be able to walk out, but that was a big, big stop for Europe.
And now Europe is on the offensive. Alex still chasing, and we know how much damage he does.
Oh, home guard onto its special. Guarding it beautifully. The shock blast hits. The changes in the gate to come out. He will continue to chase. The jump on to the skies. Dunks him down.
And now we're throwing the gauntlet back around the other way. That is 4 death timers stars for North America, and everyone alive on Gambit. I mean Europe, they're going now for the Nexus.
The supercharged Gambit, as a lot of Europe calls them, but they are the European All-Stars, hailing from many regions, coming together here for this spectacular play in the Shanghai Grand Stage.
15 seconds on Skara, 17 on Doublelift. I feel like they're going to res to get to the final edge, but this inhibitor is definitely going down, Riv.
Inhibitor for inhibitor. I don't know if they're going to be left fighting at the Nexus turrets. EU says it was a little risky. We'll back out for this one.
Let's take a breather.
Yeah.
I feel like we should take a break right now, because that was unreal. All said and done, there's 4,000 gold lead on Europe. They are a little bit stronger than they were before that fight, but they have lost their Baron fight, and now they have the appropriate fear of Doublelift, I feel like. They focused him super hard when they were trying to take down those Nexus turrets, and they were within an inch of losing that game if they did not play that fight at their Nexus turrets exactly right.
4,000 gold, 2 turrets, and 0 kills separate these teams now, as they have been pretty much neck and neck. And with this gold lead, 4,000 this late in the game, it's distributed so smallly, or so little between these players. It's not an item for them. It means nothing.
Yeah, the later you get into the game, the less a gold lead really matters. Yeah. It's kind of about the percentage, and especially when you start hitting 6 items, sometimes the gold lead doesn't mean anything, because Doublelift is sometimes using his ultimate to clear a creep wave off the side, or just push it back from the base, because he's been maxed items for a while. It's not like his farm is actually netting him anything right now. It's just all about the team fight.
Doublelift, Captain Boots.
Home guard boots.
Those are they are. This screen protector
Colors playing
just kicked
tricks on you, man. I wish they were Captain Boots, because he is.
I was like, he's got the slow. He's got the gauntlet. Nope, screen protector. Thanks. So 43-25 into this game, 14-14. We do have that 4,000 gold lead, but it could be not even there. Obsolete, as we said before. Locket the Iron Solari coming out. 2 members for each team as they mirror that up. Guardian Angel's not up for Europe right now, so I don't expect them to be too crazy with anything.
No, and this is exactly where they almost lost the game the last time, when Doublelift poked down Diamond and Edward pretty much by himself before the Rec Room came in. So they got the 1 turret, and they're skedaddling out of there. The Baron is coming up very soon, and that may be where we see the next thing. But since teams have exposed inhibitors, they got to be extremely careful with where the back doors can be coming in, because both of these teams have experience in that from the last game.
I cannot believe the CS in this game for the amount of fighting as well. 2 people over 400 now, and still more cresting there. We're only 44 minutes in. You see this at 60 minutes.
You gotta do. That is a little bit absurd. We could very well see 500 mini kills out of these guys, but if they're smart, they're going to be channeling farm, at least Europe, into Yellow Pete. And North America is going to be channeling into Skara, because Alex and Doublelift are maxed. They have to get more people to maximum power.
All right, we'll have to see how they coordinate this one, where the next fight goes. Bases are open. Inhibitor in the mid lane for EU, Inhibitor in the bottom lane for Europe, as they were able to grab the Baron and get the map objective free. They're going to have to work on other inhibitors, though, if Baron is up.
This is potentially it. I thought the game was maybe over a couple of times so far, and there is a gargantuan creep wave actually creeping up the bottom lane for North America. And NA can't bait around Baron, because Europe could very well just run into the base if they did, but we might see a team fight in this mid lane. If anyone gets a catch, there's a flash!
It's on to Edward. The flash did come up. That means Alex has his as well. Soaz right to the back line. Diamond, the Cataclysm, but he jumps out of it with a flash. Leases everybody in the back line. Soaz very hurt. Just gets himself out with beautiful play. It's a kill from Alex on to Skara. Diamond now falls in the matchup. The Requiem comes down, but I believe it's Bloblets. He could be alive in this one. He will be, and it looks like they may not be able to save him. Doublelift pressuring on. Chat, we said these are long timers, and those are very low health bars.
And even though they're long timers, that was a 2 for 2. And everyone is actually going back to base now. Such a aggressive initiate there by St. Vicious, and it looked like that fight was actually going to go to Europe's way until Scar threw out that Requiem at the end. Here's the risk play, though. Doublelift next special, we're thinking about Baron. That would have been a bad idea.
Yeah, it's almost like both teams knew they had to have that. We have to blow some of the summoners on each team. Then the next fight will be the pushing. Oh, no!
No, you gotta watch out.
Catching on to that. Poke to him, but whoa, they are still going on to this. Alex East through the wall. He is going to keep going. The flash comes out. He gets the shift. Oh, he tries to turn it around, but whoa, throws that two-shot barrage off to the side.
And because North America went to check the Baron after the fight and let Europe just run back up with home guard boots on a bunch of them, and the gate from Jace, they made it there in a flash. That was almost a disaster, and what a crazy chase there by Alex and Doublelift.
What a crazy everything right now, chat. This is absolutely ridiculous. Still, even in kills, it just goes back and forth. The Guardian Angels are now up. Again, what EU was waiting for this to happen, and Guardian Angels aren't even being considered on the side of the North American LCS. They did go for a Thornmail on St. Vicious, but it's all about power, fighting, and staying in that fight for the one time.
And Sage is really just trying to run at Yellow P. He knows he's going to sacrifice himself in these team fights. That's why he's flashing in for the initiations. It's about really Double Lift and Skara for North America. Darius and Saint are kind of just distractions. And for Europe, it's really about Alex Each and Yellow Pete's damage, but Soaz is a much bigger distraction than Renection just because of how much he's bouncing around. I feel like, I can't even be completely sure.
You can't. These fights are ridiculous. Like we said, you watch Diamond, but Diamond Cataclysm.
Here they go, though.
Jump out of it. They are going for the Baron again. It does not look like they have a way to walk out of this one without taking damage on the backside. The wall goes down. They pressure him in. There's the first lock hit to stop some Baron damage. They begin to fight. Special. The Cataclysm to the backside is right on to Skara. He is shredding Soaz and Diamond right now. The first kill coming out.
Full health.
To Soaz. They are still going. Double Lift with full health in this fight. As Requiem comes down, he flashes into safety. And a kill on the Yellow P. Here comes that Guardian Angel. The 1, 2, 3. No, he misses it. But he shifts back in. Another 400 go for
Double Lift. Just getting a Penta.
Triple kill for this. The 1 kill. Penta for double. Penta kill. Double Lift.
Wow, what a way to get an ace at the end of a 48-minute game. Looks like North America is just cruising down for this Nexus.
There is no way they're going to take 60 seconds to take down the inhibitors. You can see the cams. Double Lift with a pentakill in the All-Star game. He may be the only one to go, though. Everybody has to back.
Oh, no.
Will they actually have enough?
Maybe not. I called it too early. There's 20 seconds left on Soaz's death timer. There's still Nexus turrets up. The game isn't over yet, Riv.
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
kidding?
The pentakill coming in. He was 9-2-6, now 14-2-6. And we said, man, they might want to channel some different stuff onto people. They just channeled everything onto Double Lift. But that puts a fear into the European team.
And the craziest thing about the pentakill is that doesn't actually help North America in the grand scheme of things. It shows that they can win fights, but Double Lift can't buy anything with those items.
Nope.
It's not like he's a more fed Ezreal now. He is just more of a realized threat here. The Baron wasn't even taken. The only thing they got out of that was a refreshed inhibitor. We're going to get to see that fight again.
Absolutely. Like we said, they wanted to blow the Summoners. They wanted to get back in, and it has to be considered that 2 Guardian Angels went down over the entire fight for EU. And it looks like Baron, at 50 minutes here, will be challenged once again.
Diamond might try to run in for a steal, but they're way scattered and way behind. I feel like North America can get at this. Maybe the steal. Alex is running at full speed.
Here we go. They are going to lock it in. Alex just on the outside. The Baron goes down. Saint locks it up for the team. This is a very big NA. This is a very big EU on the thread of a victory.
The thing is, the last time it looked like Europe had the power hand was when they had the Baron buff, and it was overconfidence that cost them the momentum in the game. They got killed and chased back to their base. North America is going to be so confident off of this, they have to make sure they don't over push, because these fights are on a hair trigger with how they could turn in either direction.
You said, Jack, that goal difference not meaning much anymore. The kill difference not meaning much anymore. It comes down to the late game fight, the positioning, what can be done by these teams. It almost says the past 50 minutes have only tried and tested you to see how good you are now.
It's an all-star game. These guys, the true test of skill, the best players from every region here, North America and Europe, really giving me the best games I've seen all season. This is unreal right now. Skara with the death cap. How much ability power does that dude have? He's got 775. Alex has been max items for about 95 minutes right now. Almost everyone is getting to the max items. Yellow Pete's GA is down, obviously. I don't know how this game is going to end.
It's going to have to end with a fight, chat, and it's going to be bloody and brutal, but it can't be called. There's no one that has the good initiation over the other. You have Anchor Tosses, you have Diamond, who has had amazing cataclysms. Soaz has always been there to capitalize with Diamond on crowd control lockup, and it looks like, once again, they'll be here, a 5-on-5 in the bottom lane.
And there's still a turret up in this push. They're going to have to poke it down and risk getting initiated in on. There goes Soaz!
There's one. Soaz goes in, elastic shot, but that means he stays behind in a Jarvan ultimate now.
And look at that bounce plus shot, got Scar to half, which means if he tries to move into a team fight, it's going to be very careful. North America is very confident with this Baron buff. They're getting the turret, but they still are getting risked at for maybe initiation.
That siege pressure. Look where Diamond is standing. He wants the diagonal entry. I thought he was going for it. They are going to hold off another inhibitor, which means lane pressure to come in on EU.
2 inhibitors down is a huge breaking point in a lot of these games, but this is not your regular 2 inhibitor advantage, because it's not like they're even up in gold at 51 minutes into the game with 2 inhibitors down. They're going to try to sweep around for the third one. They have about 2 minutes left on the Baron buff, so they can still get this next push in with the Baron. And if Europe was scared to fight at number 2, they're going to be scared to fight at number 3, but they can't give up number 3. They're going to have to fight.
These guys are reading the same book right now. It said top lane, both are representing right now for this turret, and it looks like with the push we just saw, NA should have this one as well. Will EU let it happen?
They have to go in, I feel like, unless they're giving up. That turret's falling fast. There's the Varus ultimate, but he gets hooked.
Chain of corruption onto Xpecial. Xpecial is locked out, but he did get the box down right before. Double lift on the back line, not taking any damage. Dyra's doing some great peeling. Skara damaging and lowering the fight. It's double lift still alive. The Requiem to come down in the fight. Oh my god, it hit him as soon as he came up from Guardian Angel. Amazing. Diamond gets taken out for a few shots. Will they be able to take this down? Diamond looking very grim. 1, 2, 3. Ezreal to come in.
4 for 2
to get the Nexus turrets. Can Edwards
It's just Edward. I think NA has it. They're going to finish off the Nexus.
It's going to be the Nexus. It's going to be double his pentakill. They're going to carry this one on, and it's going to be North America moving on.
Those games were incredible. The energy from North America after that one. Just listen to the crowd. Amazing.